3 things for better video. I'll go through choosing a location with good audio. Yep, that's a lawnmower in the background there. And how to do some audio repairing. Because sometimes no matter what you do, you can't get perfect audio. Then interview framing. You know, not cutting off people's heads or having them facing the wrong way. Check out the timecodes below to jump to any section you like. You can't trust your ears as they simply can't hear background sounds that your camera can. When I'm in charge of a shoot, I always test the audio environment of a location in multiple spots. Here I am in 3 different locations, testing audio before filming with my interviewee. Record yourself speaking, then play the recordings back in a quiet space to hear the results. And I recommend you always use headphones. Playing the audio just from the camera itself is not much help. Here's location 1. This is the first location for audio testing, 1, 2. It's okay, but that echo isn't good at all. Here's location 2, which is good, but it lacks natural light. Check. This is the second filming location for audio test. Yep, that sounds great. This one is winning so far. Here's location 3. It's outside with great natural light and an interesting background. This is the third location for audio testing, 1, 2. This is the third location for audio testing. But no, the background lawnmower will be nearly impossible to remove in post. So from just 10 minutes of recording tests and listening to results, I know that location 2 is the winner. Doing this before recording your interview will save you a ton of audio repairing editing time, and you'll get better and better at choosing quiet locations quickly. To recap, record tests in multiple locations, and then listen back to these recordings using headphones, and choose the best location to then set up your interview in. So here I am in Adobe Premiere Pro. Here's a piece of audio that I've recorded as an example to show you what echo in a voiceover or audio recording sounds like. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for echo. So this was done in a space with a lot of flat and kind of hard surfaces, and the sound was bouncing around a lot. So I recommend when you're doing your shoot to test out some locations for audio suitability. So do a few tests at your location, see which rooms might give you more or less echo. You can get rid of echo. It's nice to not have it if you don't have to, but sometimes you're stuck with it. And I want to show you how to adjust the echo to kind of minimize it a little bit. This is just a voiceover that I would be recording and editing into my video. You can do these same steps on a video piece that has both a video and audio file linked together. Okay, so this is our audio file here. We're going to go to our effects tab. And if you don't have the effects tab open, choose window and effects. In here, we're going to type in de-reverb. And drag this filter onto your audio track. And then we're going to go up to Effect Controls. If you don't have Effect Controls available, go Window, Effect Controls. You'll see that we have the de-reverb filter here. If you click this Edit button, this brings up the window and it'll show you the live view of the playback of the de-reverb filter working. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play this and loop this back and forth. So let's drag our playhead to the front and push the I key for in point. And take it to about here and push the O key for out. And this is going to loop here. We're going to turn on our loop button, but I don't have it here in my frequent buttons. Hit your plus sign, and it's this button here, and you can just click and drag and place it down on the right, and then hit OK. And now we're going to turn on loop playback. So now when we push play, the de-reverb should be working, and we'll have a listen. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for echo. So that's already applied it. The processing focus, these different buttons here will process the frequencies, and this is all frequencies. This one's lower, mid, so you can experiment with that. I tend to keep it on all frequencies. And this slider here is the amount that the filter is actually applying onto this track here. So at any point you can turn the filter on and off while you're listening to it. So we'll have a listen to it. I'll turn it off and then I'll turn it on while it plays. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for echo. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I can already hear the difference there. So let's experiment a bit. I'm going to adjust this amount slider. Let's take it all the way up to 100 and see what that sounds like. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see there's 0 echo, but it's actually biting into the words. So that's too much. Let's go down a little bit. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I can still hear a little bit of audio, so I'm going to take this up to about 50. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for echo. And you can actually slide this up and down as it's playing. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for echo. Location and sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing for... I think that sounds good to me there. I'm going to hit the X here. And to go back to editing, we're going to right click in this gray zone. clear in and out, and we're going to turn off our loop playback. And that's how you remove some echo in Premiere. So here I am in Adobe Premiere Pro. I have a recording here that was done outside in the wind. Have a listen to this, and you're listening for the low bass rumble to signify when wind has passed over the microphone. Trying to record here, but there seems to be a lot of wind. There's some here at the beginning and some at the end. I'll play this last bit for you again. A lot of wind. So it's that low frequency bass rumble. And this is just an audio file if I was recording this for a narration for my video. But you can do these same steps onto a video file that has both video and audio. So I'm going to show you how to fix this wind and remove it. Choose your clip. And on the lower left here, we're going to choose the Effects tab. If this isn't open in your Premiere, go up to Window and choose Effects. In the search bar, we're going to type High Pass and drag this filter onto the audio of your file. And what the high pass is going to do is it's going to set a frequency. Higher frequencies tend to be higher sounds in the ear, and lower frequencies tend to be those bassier sounds. So we're going to set this to be a certain frequency to get rid of that wind. It's set at 1495 Hertz. Let's have a listen. Trying to record here, but there seems to... Okay, so you can see that this is set far too high. So let's take this down to about 100. And this is all about experimenting and seeing what sounds right. We want to cut off just the wind and try to not cut off anything besides the wind. Let's do 100. Trying to record here, but there seems to be a lot of wind. I can still hear it a little bit, so let's go 300. Trying to record here, but there seems to be a lot of wind. Now that's gotten rid of the wind entirely, but you can tell that the voice has also lost a bit of the body to it. That's because this high pass is actually removing some of those low frequencies in the voice. So let's go in between. Let's go 150. Trying to record here, but there seems to be a lot of wind. Tiny little bit of wind there, so let's go 170. So I'm kind of finding an in-between point. Trying to record here, but there seems to be a lot of wind. That's pretty much perfect. There's a teeny tiny bit of wind there, but I'm going to have some music in this edit, so that'll cover it up. These filters, you can turn them on and off by hitting this effects button here. So we'll have a listen to it beforehand. Turn it off. Trying to record here, but a lot of wind. Tons of wind there, and then with our fix, a lot of wind. So that's worked really well, and that's how you remove wind in Premiere. So here I am in Adobe Premiere Pro. Here's a little recording I've done to demonstrate some background noise. Location sound check, 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. Okay, so you can hear there's this horrible high-pitched frequency background noise there. That sometimes happens. In Premiere, there is a way to get rid of that. I'm using just an audio voiceover recording here, but this same effect would work on a video and audio file that are linked. Okay, so we're going to go to our Effects tab. If that's not available, go to Window and choose Effects. And then we're going to type in the search bar, denoise. We're going to drag this onto the audio portion of our clip. And we're going to go up to Effect Controls. If you don't have that available, click Window and Effect Controls. You see we have our denoise filter here. Let's click the Edit button. And it's already going to be applied. I'm going to set my in point here by putting my blue playhead at the beginning and choosing I, and going to the end and hitting O. And then I'm going to choose my loop playback button. If you don't have this here, click the plus button here, and you'll find it in here, and you can click and drag. So if I put this back, grab my loop playback and drag it down onto my toolbar there and hit OK. Now this is going to loop as we play and listen. So let's have a listen here. Location sound check, 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. And these are the processing focus of all the frequencies. So this will be all frequencies, lower, mid. So you can experiment with those based on, let's go to high frequencies. Let's see if this helps. Location sound check, 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. Location sound check, so I'm checking 1 2 between 1 these. 2, testing for back. And I think this first one's going to work. And now I can adjust these sliders up and down to see if I can find a kind of happy balance for removing the noise. Background noise. Location sound check, 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. That sounds really good actually. Location sound check, 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. And you'll notice the higher you have the amount of the effect being done, it may cut into the words, make the words sound a little bit muffled. At any point, you can turn the effect on and off while you're listening to it.
Location sound check 1 2 1 2, testing for background noise. Location sound check 1 2.
So you can see that this is making a big difference to our noise. If at any point you need to up the gain on your audio, sometimes this denoise filter will take down the overall gain or volume of your clip. You can adjust that here, but I'm going to keep mine at 0. Hit the X there, and now we're going to need to right click in this gray space, clear in and out, and turn off our loop playback.
Location sound check 1 2 1 2.
And that's basically gotten rid of all the noise there. So that's how you remove noise in Premiere. To recap, audio with echo can be helped by using the de-reverb effect. If you have wind in your audio file, you can use the high pass effect to help that. And if you're looking to remove noise, use the denoise effect. Here I have a documentary style interview setup. To capture a documentary style interview, arrange the camera, talent, and interviewer in a triangle like this, so with the interviewer sitting on one side of the camera, and the talent maintaining eye contact with the interviewer. This means when you look through the camera, it feels like you're sitting in on a conversation between the interviewer and the talent. Now I'll walk through how I frame and organize my talent for great shots. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to address eye level, and you'll notice that my camera is actually much higher than my interviewee's eye level. So the first thing I'm going to do is lower my tripod down like that. I'm going to get down and look. You don't even need to look at the screen, just look at the level of the camera, and I think I need to go down a little bit more. So I'll drop down my legs, and I recommend dropping down the legs a little bit further than you need to go, and then lifting up the center pole of the tripod if there is one. So bring that up, and I'm going to check the height of that. That looks pretty good. So we're wanting this to be the same eye level here, and that'll make it more natural for the viewer. Here's some examples showing variation in eye level. With this one, you can see that the camera is set a little bit too high, and it feels like as the viewer, you're standing a bit taller than the interviewee. This one, the camera is too low, and it feels like you're sitting lower, and it makes it feel like the person is standing above you talking down to you. This one here is eye level just right. When setting up your shot, you might not notice the difference in eye level using the small screen on your camera. But once you get the footage onto a larger screen when you're editing it, incorrect eye level will show up a lot. Now the next step for this triangle interview is I have my interviewer here to the side. If you make the triangle really wide, there's a larger distance here between that. What I'll do is I'll get my interviewee to turn their chair to face this chair like that, so that when the interviewer is here, they're having the direct conversation, and I'll be filming up here. So I've set that there, and when I zoom up, this looks good, but I think I'm seeing a little bit too much of the side of the face of my interviewee. So you want to be careful of how wide you set your triangle setup. Okay, we'll go back here. Face there. So this chair is very close to the camera here. And this is helpful as well if you are filming this on your own. You could sit here, spin the monitor around, and monitor that way. So what I recommend doing is starting out really far and wide, zooming in, and don't be afraid to zoom up a fair bit. And when you're framing, you might frame your subject right in the middle. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to leave something called looking space to the side of where they're looking. So my interviewee is looking to our right. So I'm going to adjust my shot, and you want to make sure that you leave enough room above the head. So you can see that we've got this looking space off to the right, and that feels natural. If I had the looking space off to the left, you can see that that doesn't actually look very natural at all. So you want that off to the right. And now if we had my chair on the other side of my camera, around this side, I would get my interviewee to spin their chair, and this way, I would make sure that I have the looking space on our left to match their gaze. Okay, so we'll go back to the right. And when I'm setting up an interview, I haven't even hit record yet. I'm just letting my interviewee be comfortable, and I take my time. There's no need to rush, because once you get your shot all perfect, then you can hit record and relax knowing that you've got your shot correct. So two types of shots we can do is we can do this more zoomed in shot. Like that. You can see it's nice and tight. I'll give it a little bit more room on top of the head. And I'll pull out to see a little bit more of underneath the shoulder, about there like that. And then if you wanted a wider shot, I'll zoom out to here, bring my tripod down, make sure to adjust to give a little bit of looking space. Like that. So I have space on the left, space on the right, and space above the head, but a little bit more space over to follow the looking space. So now that my framing is all correct and I'm satisfied with that, I'll plug in my headphones and my microphone, and then the interview will be all set to record. One last check, double check my framing is good, the audio sounds all right. I'm gonna hit record. If I was the interviewer, I would take my place in the interviewing chair, get the mic set, and then I can begin the interview. To recap, make sure you set your eye level, then adjust the distance between your interviewer's chair and the camera. Have your interviewee or talent turn to face the interviewer, then frame your shot to leave space above the interviewee's head to the left and the right, and to leave looking space on the correct side. Set up your mic and do a final audio check, and you're good to go. So that's 3 things that instantly help you produce better video. Check out our other tutorials on our channel.